With the announcement of GTA 6 after only waiting for 10 years, I could say that my prayers have been answered and I'll be able to play this game as a grown-ass man. But sometimes you see these games that are big. People talk about how they'll show us the development process and all, but the only thing we get is, well, nothing. Hope Rockstar doesn't do the same. So let's get straight into the video, where we talk about the top 10 games that never got released. 8 days. Now, this was a PS3 exclusive that was hyped by the developers and the parties involved as utterly jaw-dropping. But the only thing that ended up getting dropped was the game itself. This project was started in 2006, and the makers kinda wanted to mix Hollywood with game development. A member of the development team, called Richard Bunn, said that it had cinematic scenes like God of War. In the game, you could duck, take cover, and do pretty much what any GTA game did, but better. If this game made it out of the development phase and actually got released, it would have been amazing, as you could see in this footage. Yes, the graphics aren't good if we compare them to the games nowadays, but for 2006, I'd say that the developers did a really impressive job. The first real look we got of this game was from a tech demo where a gas station blew up. Again, not something surprising, but definitely something good considering it was targeted for 2006. And the developers who were asked about the game explained it was clearly ahead of its time and cost a lot of money. Yet it still would have been a pretty standard third-person shooting game. Chronicles of Elyria. At number 9, we have Chronicles of Elyria, which is an MMORPG that was launched on Kickstarter and raised a lot of money. But I wouldn't say how much, as nobody can really tell if it was actually true. It was $3 million! Anyway, coming to the game, the reason it raised this much money was solely based on its interesting ideas. Even reading those ideas now made me think what a game this could have been, because you interacted with real people while playing. There were no NPCs to give out quests to, but instead, other online players would do that for you in the game. So you could get any job that you wanted done, just name it. It doesn't end here, as the game doesn't stop even if you're offline, because that's when the AI takes over and continues to play as your character. On top of that, you could create dungeons and destroy anything in this world. There's no map because everyone's constantly creating and destroying. Unfortunately, the game didn't hit the market, with many speculating that it was a scam and that the developers didn't want to do it after raising a lot of dough. Prince of Persia: Redemption. Next up, we have Prince of Persia: Redemption, which was much like Assassin's Creed, because obviously both the games are made by the same studio. When the game's development first came to light, it really intrigued me because it had all the Prince of Persia staples from before, and the footage they released to give an idea to the public was absolutely amazing. One of the developers that were involved with it said, "Unfortunately, one of the main reasons why it was not followed through on, it was cancelled, is because the original creator of Prince of Persia, Jordan Mechner, still holds the license rights, so they make less money off those games than internal IP. That does make sense, but watching this video, it's really hard to miss out on playing this game, as it had all of that open world magic, where you jump around, climb walls, and the best part, kill people. Okay, wait, I'm not saying killing feels amazing, but the moves used to kill were pretty darn good. Identity. This, again, was another Kickstarter project that came with the idea of entertaining hundreds of online players in a world of absolute freedom. Now, absolute is a very big word, and I don't know how much freedom they intended to give. But what I do know is that this studio again raised a lot of money due to its crazy ideas. Generally, their projects tend to be ambitious, which attracts insane amounts of money because people absolutely drooled over the project. On top of this, people thought that something like this couldn't be done inside the AAA system. But little did they know Kickstarter already had some history. So what did we get? A buggy game where you can literally only walk, and to my surprise, there were still people who liked this game. Maybe they were the ones given the money and got scammed not once, but twice. Rainbow Six Patriots. At number 5, we have the Rainbow Six Patriots. You might know about Rainbow Six Siege, and if not for Patriots, the latter wouldn't have happened. Patriots was in development for a while, but the only backlash it received was due to some controversial content in the game. Well, how do I put it? It had scenes that showed hostages in captivity and they were dying. Anyway, this game led to a group of ex-Marines forming a terrorist group in real life who amassed weaponry costing up to $87,000, which is a pretty normal thing, am I right? Now, the things they planned were wild, and were even hiring people off of an article of Patriots. The game wasn't fully cancelled, but instead, the work was shifted to Rainbow Six Siege. From a business angle, it probably made sense to switch gears. Also, you gotta wonder if being a part of that mess made the devs feel bad. so it's no surprise that they ditched the project and moved on to something else. Yandere Simulator. This is when fantasy becomes reality. The idea behind this game is pretty funny, to be honest, and it really gives the girls an opportunity to finish off the ones who try taking away their crush. To hell with it! Even I would play this game to kill girls who decide to hit on my man! No homo though. Anyway, this game was first announced in 2014 and still has a working website with a demo available to test it out. Now, it's been 10 years, and how hard could it be to develop such a game that hasn't been released yet? Well, it could be said that the original game might never come out, as it's been in beta for 6 years and has lost key figures. And not to mention, the creator got accused of harassing a 16-year-old fan.
FBI, open up!
Now, what will his next game be like? Run after children, get accused, and kill the accuser, maybe? Dead Island 2. All this violence now brings us to Dead Island 2, which most of you clearly didn't know is a sequel to Dead Island 1. Making waves at the Gamescom in 2014, the game would have set out for success had it been released, because it consisted of features that went ahead of what they initially told us about. Also, this time around, the game took us to the city of California instead of the same old island, and it allowed 8 players to co-op. I mean, I would have been so down to play this game with my gang, and I'm pretty sure you're also thinking the same. This game isn't really cancelled, it's just been changing studios for eternity. I feel like the game is more inclined to Left 4 Dead's concept, and I really do hope that it comes out, but it would require some major changes for it to fit in the world nowadays. But then again, we don't know what the devs might pull off. For now, nothing's happening though. Star Wars Battlefront 3. We can't overlook Star Wars Battlefront 3, can we? Developed by Free Radical, the same studio behind earlier Battlefront titles, and they were really pushing the boundaries with this one. The footage of dogfights over Coruscant was just jaw-dropping, and nothing before had even come close to what we saw in those leaked clips. The sheer scale of it all was staggering, from intense aerial combat to epic space battles right above Coruscant, all packed with incredible detail and stunning effects. While I do admire the newer Battlefront games for their achievements, Battlefront 3 seemed like it was gonna be in a league of its own. Personally, I'm dying to get my hands on it. So, Michael Barkley, currently serving as the chief designer at Naughty Dog, describes the situation regarding the video game as a disappointment for gamers. While the first 2 Star Wars Battlefront games remain highly favored among gaming enthusiasts, there remains an unfulfilled gap in the series due to the absence of a 3rd installment that was never released. Metal Gear Rising. Well, this is right up there with the #1 spot for me, and the story behind it not being released is kinda similar to my life. The team got pretty far into developing the game, and at one point they realized that this was something they couldn't pull off. They felt like the approach they had didn't work for the idea, and disappointingly, they couldn't even go beyond 30 frames per second for whatever reason. So, Hideo Kojima said to Platinum Games, "Hey Hideki Kamiya and Platinum Games Associates, could you please make a game for us? We would like to work with you on it, but we think that you would probably be better at doing it than us. Can you give me a smooth-moving, awesome riding running at 60 frames per second?" The team at Platinum Games certainly knows their stuff, and as a result, Metal Gear Solid Rising transformed into Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. Star Wars 1313. And finally, at the #1 spot, we have Star Wars 1313, which is also dubbed as the Uncharted of the Star Wars series. The concept of setting a game entirely on one planet's underbelly within the Star Wars universe would easily intrigue the minds of any man who would dare set his gaze upon that game. Unlike the usual focus on Jedi, remote planets, and galactic battles, this setting offered a unique storytelling opportunity, which I believe could have outshone the storyline in Rise of Skywalker. Instead, we got a hybrid Uncharted Dark Souls experience with Jedi Fallen Order, which, while different and not as challenging as Dark Souls, left me yearning for 1313. It seemed like a missed opportunity, especially considering the game's promising progress. The Disney acquisition and subsequent changes at LucasArts halted its development, which leaves me hopeful for its revival. As a Star Wars fan, I can't help but be sad about its cancellation. But you can make me happy by liking the video and subscribing to my channel for more content like this. Did you agree with my list? Let me know in the comments down below.